Hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Agent Psycho. This video we're going to be going over the review on the M110 SASS. This is one of two NX standard variants of the original SR25 GP standard sniper rifle. So, without further ado, let's get right into the review. A little bit of real life or in real life background information on the M110 SASS. It is developed by the same company that brought you the SR25, the Knights Armament company, and it's really interesting how the M110 SASS first came out. The SR25 turns out to be a very old weapon. In fact, if I look up the information here, it's been in service ever since the 90s, or well, more specifically 1990 itself. And the M110 SASS, I mean, just looking at it, you can tell that it's a more modern sniper rifle. But they are still cousins of each other because the M110 SASS does use a lot of the same parts that the SR25 does. It's just there's a few areas where it's the M110 has a lot of things changed, but overall, just by looking at it, you can tell that they're related in some way or another. In any case, yeah, it still fires the same 7.62 by 51mm NATO DMR round, and yeah, it's made by the same company, so you can just consider the SR25 and the M110 SASS to be cousins or brothers in some way. So that's good. So now, in-game, the M110 SASS, at least for the North American servers, is NX only. However, according to the Comrades Wiki, which is very interesting, for Comrades Europe, it's actually available for GP purchase. So that I never knew that. So the fact that the M110 SASS is available for GP purchase over there means that you guys over there on the Europe servers are pretty lucky to have that for GP purchase and not just NX purchase as well. So in any case, apparently for the European servers, you can actually buy the M110 SASS for GP for 1,800 GP a day or 8,820 GP for 1 week. However, for us Americans over here across the pond, since it's only available for NX purchase, one day costs you 900 NX, and for 7 days costs you 3,400 NX. And as always, for permanent purchase, you can buy it for basically 30k NX, or more specifically 29,900 NX. Now let's move on to the statistics of the M110 SASS. The M110 deals an 87 damage, portability of 50, rate of fire of 30, accuracy of 95, and a recoil of 55. Now, if we were to compare this, to the stats of the original SR25, you'll notice that it not only receives huge buffs in damage, but also it gains buffs in portability and recoil as well. If you guys remember back to the SR25 review, the SR25 only dealt a 75 damage, whereas the M110 SASS deals an 87 damage. That's a 12-point increase in damage right there. And even though it's still not a one-shot kill, that's still a really big increase to damage, which means that at 87 damage, you start hitting the one-shot to the back kill range on light vessels, which will prove to you, or I'll prove to you in the damage testing later on in this video. So the fact that you're able to deal an 87 damage means that you basically gain a very strong two-shot kill range. There is basically no circumstance in which you'll ever get a more than a two-shot kill. Like you'll never have to worry about putting more than 2 bullets into someone to kill them. In some of my other gameplays, or in my Samfire and my SR25 review, you may have seen me take or put like 2 or like 3, maybe 4. I don't think I've ever put 4 bullets into someone with the SR25, but at least I know for a fact that with the SR25 Samfire review, there was this one guy on Snow Valley that I shot in the foot, and so he tanked it a lot, and I had to put in a 3rd bullet into him to finish him off. The M110 SASS, you never have to worry about that due to the 12-point increase to damage. So, again, 87 damage, strong 2-shot kill, never have to worry about 3-shotting anyone. On top of which, the portability has been increased from 43 to 50. So the fact that it has a 50 portability means that the M110 is actually one of the fastest sniper rifles in the game, excluding other NX rare weapons like the SIG 50 or the MSR or other sniper rifles like that. And it's kind of interesting because in real life, the M110 SASS actually weighs a lot more than the in real life SR25, but it's a video game. Who the hell cares? And last but not least, the recoil has been decreased by 5 points, which is actually kind of a it's kind of misjudging at first because if you think about it, you'll notice that whenever I actually use M110 and you know, for the gameplays, you'll notice that the M110 SASS kicks up just straight up. It kicks very high up, just like the E57 musket. And if you fire at its maximum rate of fire, you'll notice that it kind of wobbles, or it kind of bounces left a little bit, diagonally left, a little bit diagonally right, instead of just straight up and down. If you control your rate of fire, it will bounce up and down. Trust me. But in any case, the fact that it does that kind of makes you think like, wow, they actually gave this a 55 recoil. Like, where's the decrease in recoil that we're seeing here? The decrease in recoil is actually not in the visual view kick, but instead in the center speed. The M110 SASS has a lot better center speed than the either the SR25 or the SR25 Sandfire. Now, granted, it still you still can get it to a point where the center speed can't keep up with its rate of fire, and like I said, the rate of fire got a buff too over the SR25 and the SR25 Sandfire, because the SR25 had 25 rate of fire and the Sandfire had 28, and the M110 has 30. So obviously, it's been buffed. It's continually been buffed all the way up to this point. So you still can kind of throw off the M110's center speed, but you'd basically have to be firing at maximum speed, like, or maximum rate of fire, like all the goddamn time in order to pull that off. So the M110, just keep in mind, it has a lot better center speed, and that's why Combat Arms says, oh, the M110 has 55 recoil and 5 points less recoil than the SR25 and the SR25 Sandfire. So just keep that in mind. Now, as for other non-statistical aspects of the M110 SASS, the draw speed and the reload speed are basically the same as the SR25 Sandfires. The M110 shares the same animations as the SR25 Sandfire, so if you're used to using the Sandfire variant, then you'll have no trouble transitioning over to M110 SASS, because they basically feel the same up until a point where you actually shoot someone. Then you'll notice that's a lot stronger. But in any case, the draw speed and the reload speed should be the same as they are on the SR25 and the SR25 Sandfire. The ammunition count has stayed the same at 10 rounds in magazine and 30 rounds reserve, which is good because the one advantage that the SR25 has over other semi-automatic or fully automatic sniper rifle families is the fact that they come with 4 magazines instead of like sometimes like 3, like the muskets. Maybe the I think the Dragons only come with 30 rounds total, and other sniper rifles like that. As for modification restrictions, the M110 is different from the SR25 and the SR25 Sandfire in that it does not come with an integrated suppressor. Rather, it comes with a muzzle brake, so you no longer have the stealth benefit that the SR25 and the Sandfire give you, which I forgot to mention in those reviews, but the fact that they come with integrated suppressors means that you can really, really work a stealthy role very well and very easily. However, with the M110 SASS, you cannot attach a suppressor on this, even if you wanted to, because of the fact that it has a muzzle brake on it. Kind of like how you can't put a silencer on the M107 CQ family because it comes with the muzzle brake. So that muzzle brake basically prevents you from putting a silencer on that, because you just can't. It break the gun basically. So yeah, the M110 SASS, basically you're trading a lot more damage and sacrificing your stealth benefits that the SR25 and the Sandfire bring you with their integrated suppressors. So you can look at it either both ways. Maybe you don't like the SR25, or maybe you don't like the M110 SASS because you missed the SR25's integrated suppressor, or maybe you much rather prefer this way because you no longer have to worry about 3-shotting people anymore. Personally, I prefer just drop the silencer and don't let me use a silencer, or don't let me have the option of putting a silencer in exchange for more damage. I just like dealing more damage per shot. So the M110 more suits my style. But you might be a little bit different, of course. In any case, because you can't attach a silencer on this, you still can attach modification or magazine modifications on just like you can on most sniper rifles. And yeah, because it comes with the 10-round magazine anyway. Like I said, magazine modifications are not necessary, but if you feel like you want to have a faster mag on there, by all means. You still have 8 bullets, and the M110's reload speed, just like the Sandfire and the SR25, isn't exactly like comfortable, or it's not fast by any means. So you can definitely put a fast loader mag on this. Extended mag too, or extended mags at all, I don't think they're worth it. But maybe fast forward back. Alright guys, welcome back. This is going to be the weapon testing for the M110 SASS. I've still got my same test dummies, Siswav, Vinwood, and Lucero. In fact, I'm going to be using them for all 4 or the rest of my SR25 variant weapon testing, so let's get this on. So, the hipfire accuracy. Alright, there we go. And the mid-range hipfire accuracy. It kind of does feel like the M110. Oops, the M110 SASS. Oh, he had to go. All right. Has better hipfire accuracy than the SR25s, the original ones anyway. So I guess that's good in that respect. All right. Okay, so this is going to be the scope testing and the idle sway test. And the zoom in speed. Or the scope and speed, sorry. So the scope and speed is obviously pretty similar to the other SR25 variants that we've reviewed thus far. We'll hold it here for the idle sway. Note again that the SR25 or the M110 SASS does have the same green 4X L96 style optics for the scopes rather. So there you go. And as you guys can clearly tell, the idle sway is pretty big on the M110 SASS too. Likes to drift around a lot from side to side. I want to say that it drifts more slowly than the other SR25 variants, but again, you'd have to cut this down. You have to cut this frame by frame in like Sony Vegas or something and really tell the difference. Alright, this is going to be the damage testing for the M110 SASS, and as you guys know, the M110 SASS deals a lot more damage than the other SR25 variants that we've reviewed thus far. So let's see how much damage we can do to these guys. Vinwood's got the recon vest, or light vest, so let's see how much damage this deals to him. A lot of damage. He's all the way down to 8. Lucero's got the medium vest, 34. And Shimeda got the he's got the heavy vest. Shimeda's got the medium vest. 22. Now we're gonna be testing out the one-shot capabilities to, or well, not one-shot, but back damage capabilities of the M110 SASS. Okay. Vinwood's got the recon vest, and this should be a one-shot. It is. Heavy vest? No, but it almost did. Medium vest? One shot. So as you guys can see, the M110 SASS is strong enough to one-shot light vesters / recon vesters and medium vesters to the back at most ranges. Heavy vest obviously will tank it, so if you got a heavy vest, then it will protect you from one-shot kills from the back. From people using M110 SASS anyway. So as you guys can see, just from the damage boost alone, the M110 SASS is damage profile is far superior to both the SR25 Sandfire and the SR25, just because of the fact that the M110 SASS can't take any customizations. You can't customize this at all. So it's really nice that without any customizations, you can deal this much damage with the M110 SASS off the get-go. Whereas you have to customize the SR25 or the SR25 Sandfire to get the same kind of damage capabilities, and even then it doesn't even compare. So there you guys go. So as for any additional quirks that the M110 SASS may have, or I think may have, the M110 has a really good no-scoping ability. Now what I mean by that is that if you guys have watched the SR25 review and the SR25 Sandfire review that I put out earlier before this, you noticed that in the customizations testing, when I upgraded the customization to change their barrel, which basically alters a gun's accuracy in exchange for their recoil, or alters their recoil in some way, what ended up happening was that both the SR25 and the SR25 Sandfire's no-scoping abilities were greatly increased, because before they were customized, or before I customized them, you noticed that, or the testing showed that their bullets would tend to go towards the outer ring of their maximum hipfire spread. However, when I customized them, a lot more bullets start gravitating towards the center of my screen, rather than more towards the outside of my invisible hipfire spread. The M110 doesn't have that problem at all. In fact, it's kind of like it already has those customizations built in, so that more of your bullets will go towards the center of your screen, and more toward, and you guys know what I mean, rather than further outside of your of the M110's hipfire spread. So basically, TLDR, it no scopes a lot better. So if you are caught with your pants down somewhere and you need to defend yourself at close range M110 SASS, it's actually not a bad idea to just try to shoot at them back just by no scoping and try to put your enemy at the center of your screen and hope for the best, because the M110 actually surprisingly is pretty good at no scoping, to be honest with you, at least from what I've observed. Obviously, it's not recommended. Obviously, you should just go around no scope everyone all the time, but in the cases that you really need to defend yourself in situations where you don't have time to pull out your sidearm or another weapon and you've only got your M110 out, just know that you still do have a fairly good chance as long as they're close enough to you. As for his quickscoping ability and my personal opinions, obviously, even no matter how strong they buff the SR25, or no matter how strong they buff the M110 over the SR25, it's still not a one-shot kill. So quickscoping, unfortunately, is not viable, even though I kind of wish it was, because the M110 is really just that fun of a gun to use. But in any case, nope, the SR20 or the M110 SASS, you cannot quickscope with it. You can, but it's not going to be effective because you still can't one-shot people. The only people, as you guys have probably seen by now, the only kinds of people you can one-shot are like light vesters to the back or something like that, or maybe even medium vesters if you're lucky. But I don't think I was able to do that. Maybe I was. I don't know. In any case, as for my personal opinions on the M110 SASS, the M110 is by far, I'd say, my favorite SR25 variant. I have not, as of this review, I have not tried out the SR25 Mark II Navy, which is the NX Rare variant of the SR25. So I can't say for sure that the M110 is my favorite variant because I haven't used all of them technically just yet. But it is extremely fun to use in my opinion. It's even though I always say, oh, I'm not good with semi-autos, or I'm not good with fully autos, like I just don't have fun with them. The M110 SASS is a rare exception, and I'm glad it is, because the M110 is very fun to use, it's very accurate, it's very strong for a semi-auto, and it's just, I don't know, just something about that gun just makes me really want to gravitate towards it and wish that, maybe I should have bought this for perm instead, like the SR25 Mark II, the SR25 Mark II, I think it's called, not the Navy variant, but the Mark II. So yeah, the M110 is a really fun gun to use. Like I said, if you want to use a semi-automatic sniper rifle. Oh, actually, just before I forget to mention, the SR20 or the M110 SASS is, I believe, the only semi-automatic sniper rifle variant of this family to be truly semi-automatic. If you notice, all other SR25 variants have the option to go either semi-auto or full auto, which means that you can basically hold down a trigger if you're desperate and just spray all the bullets in your clip. The M110 SASS, you can't spray. There is no fully automatic function. So this makes the M110 SASS one of the few truly semi-automatic sniper rifles, kind of like the Dragunov, where you need to click every time you want to fire. It doesn't give you the luxury of, oh, we'll just spray all we want because we can. No, it doesn't give you that option because the M110 SASS has standards. No, just kidding. But in any case, just keep that in mind. You cannot go full auto with the M110. So if you're used to using the SR25 and you're used to just holding on the trigger and just letting all the bullets rip, it won't work with M110 because it just won't let you. The fully automatic function has not been built into the M110 for whatever reason, but it doesn't really matter because if you had that option, it wouldn't really help you anyway, given the view kick on the M110 SASS. So you really need to, it's basically telling you, hey, look, you gotta control your shots a little bit. So that being said, the M110 SASS is a very fun semi-automatic sniper rifle to use, and if you ever have the chance to use this gun, and if you're a fan of sniper rifles in general, I recommend you try it because it's a really fun sniper rifle. And I mean, yeah, it's a two-shot, but still, it's a very strong two-shot, and I really like it. I really do. So in any case, as for just as a last word of advice, as pertains to like recommended play styles or class setups or whatever, this is going to be a little bit different from the SR25 and the Sandfire recommended playstyles. Because the SR25 and the Sandfire have integrated suppressors, you could play them very stealthily, or you could just say fuck it and just go, just run around trying to no-scope people, I guess. But with the M110, I think that this can be played as a very aggressive mid-range sniper. Obviously, you can still use this as a long range because of its strong two-shot capability. No matter at what range, you should be able to take down anyone with two shots, two clean shots, like the body, the upper legs, the main body areas. But because of the fact that it has a lot better damage, and the fact that it doesn't come with a suppressor, and everyone can hear you firing it anyway, you might as well use it as a very aggressive mid-range sniper. And you could try and I'd recommend this as a very mobile sniper, not like a campy semi-automatic sniper, though you can work it like that. I'd say use this as a very aggressive, very maneuverable, mid-range sniper. Shoot people in the back if you have the chance, but don't be afraid to challenge gunfights head on because of the M110's qualities. So, thank you guys very much for watching, and this concludes the review on the M110 SASS, and the next review is going to be on the other NX standard variant, the SR25 Mark II, I think it's called, not the Navy. I gotta check up on it. But in any case, thank you guys very much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.